Welcome back to another episode here of Mostly Wrong Football Analysis. Today we're going to be going over the Week 2 stardom and sit-em for running backs for football fantasy.
Today is September 15th, Tuesday. So if there's anything we don't know about coming into Sunday and Thursday night games, whether it's a quarterback, offensive line, or maybe one of these running backs go down, we're unaware of as of today.
So for this week, the stardoms for this week, we have Aaron Jones, Raheem Moster, Christian McCaffrey, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and Alvin Kamara. The sit-ems for this week, we have Josh Jacobs, Melvin Gordon, Austin Eckler, Todd Gurley, and Joe Mixon.
Okay, so let's go ahead and dive right in with our first stardom, Aaron Jones. I like this guy to start this week going against the Detroit Lions. I see Aaron Rodgers and this Packers offense more or less running away with this game towards where there's almost no reason to keep on passing. Feed the rock to Aaron Jones. Expect him to get maybe over 100 yards, maybe. For sure, a touchdown. Go ahead and give me your thoughts on why you like Aaron Jones as well.
I definitely do think they didn't really utilize him as much week 1. He is a huge contributing factor to this offense, and I definitely expect him going against this Lion defense to have some success early on, and especially in garbage time once the game is put away.
Yeah, that's where I see him getting most of his touches. Now on to number 2 of our stardom we have.
For the number 2 stardom, we've got Raheem Moster, 49ers.
I love this one. Absolutely. I have this our most likely wrong, probably going to be most likely right pick of this stardom. I like Raheem Moster against the Jets. Don't really trust the Jets defense that well. George Kittle, if he does come back, maybe they give him some time off in this matchup where I see Raheem Mostert being the cowbell of this offense week 2 against the Jets.
I definitely do think he's going to be a huge factor, especially if with Kittle out, if he does miss any time. They're already down Deebo Samuels. He did have a very good week 1 outing, so I expect him to keep that momentum going forward.
For sure. Like you said, my favorite pick. I don't know if he's your favorite pick in the stardom. But
mine is going to be Christian McCaffrey, which is our next one.
Christian McCaffrey going against Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Go ahead and let us know why you like this pick.
Christian McCaffrey is basically their entire offense. If you get him the ball, he is very, very good at picking up yards. He's one of their main forces of scoring touchdowns, and he is very hard to stop. So I expect him to be utilized in every possible way that they can, especially with...
real quick, I do like the week 1 matchup, Alvin Kamara against his defense last week. Christian McCaffrey almost that same style of being that land and air type of running back. He can catch it. He can run the ball. That's my main favorite reasons on why I like McCaffrey. Go ahead and continue.
Well, and that's about what I was going to say, especially with the success that Kamara was showing against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in week 1. I definitely expect McCaffrey to have a similar sort of style in that game plan. I don't expect him to be silent or held without a touchdown.
Yeah, Chad, who's next on our list?
Clyde Edwards-Helaire for Kansas City.
Oh, man, I think I did speak too early. I really like this pick also. Going against the Chargers. Again, Chargers struggle against the Cincinnati Bengals in week 1. It's Helaire, 100 yards rushing. A lot of it is that, like I said, the same thing I liked about Aaron Jones. It's probably going to be all in that garbage time, maybe. Or even just the time you just decide, hey, we're not going to pass this down. Let's go ahead and feed the rock to our running back. I see Helaire taking off with this game. The same way I thought Aaron Jones would. I do like this matchup better only because it's against the Chargers. And like I said, week outing, week 1. They do get the W by 3 points against the Bengals. They're playing the Chiefs this week.
Exactly. This is not going to be an easy game for the Chargers to stay in. Once the Chiefs do, most likely they will run away with this one. And once they do so, it's going to be in the hands of Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Yep.
The last one we have is Alvin Kamara versus the Raiders. I do expect Kamara to have a very good outing, especially if Michael Thomas does sit for this week. They're going to need to look into some other means of moving the football, and they're going to have a lot of usage with Kamara in that sense.
Agreed. I like Kamara. Like I said, same pick, Christian McCaffrey, Landon Air. Even if the game gets taken away, or if they get put where they have to be in a passing situation, which I don't see being happening with the New Orleans Saints, being stuck in a passing situation, it's good to know that this running back is still going to be utilized throughout the whole game.
So let's go back and look at our two favorite matchups for this week for our stardoms. For me, I'm going to go with Christian McCaffrey going against Tampa Bay is my favorite, and then Raheem Moster going against the Jets is my second favorite. What about you?
Okay, so I like the Raheem Mostert one. That's probably going to be one of my most favorites going into this game is him. For sure, most likely wrong. Going to be most likely right on this pick because we both agree on it. The Christian McCaffrey one, I do like it, but do you know who I even like better? I like Clyde Edwards-Helaire better in this week's matchup going against the Chargers. So those are my top two. Only difference is McCaffrey, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but we can both agree on Raheem Mostert being a week 2 beast as a running back.
He's definitely going to be putting up some points this week. For our sit-ems, we have the first one is Josh Jacobs. What are your thoughts on him going against the Saints?
I really like Josh Jacobs. Probably one of my favorite backs coming into this league. Probably going to take over as a back going into year 3 if he takes off this year. But he is going against Cam Jordan, who's built different. And like I said, Josh Jacobs isn't so much as that Alvin Kamara and Christian McCaffrey catching back also. So he can also be underutilized later on in this matchup against the Saints, where I see Drew Brees and this passing offense taking over, leaving the Las Vegas Raiders to be more of a passing team rather than feeding Josh Jacobs throughout the game.
I definitely do think the Raiders are going to be able to utilize him in the run game if they do fall behind. So in that sense, I do see where his numbers could diminish. If they can find any sort of way of opening the screen game for him and maybe giving him some yards there. But it's going to be very hard, especially with Cameron Jordan in that backfield. He's going to make it a very hard game for them to have any yards.
We'll find out early for sure, because that's most likely where Josh Jacobs is going to be utilized is the first couple of offensive series for the Raiders. If he gets shut down too early, Saints come back and score, that's going to determine his outing for that game. And I'm just not confident with it. Like I said, really like Josh Jacobs as a running back in this league. Probably one of my top favorites coming in throughout the whole season, but I do not like this matchup in fantasy.
All right, so we have the next one is Melvin Gordon going against the Steelers.
Okay, my bad. Go ahead. I could give you my take right after, but go ahead and start it.
So the Steelers have a very solid defense. Held Saquon to only 6 yards, which I think is going to be my main reason for sitting Melvin Gordon this week. He is definitely a lesser back than Saquon in my opinion, and I don't see him having as much success going against the Steelers defense.
All right, my biggest takeaway is Melvin Gordon sharing the snaps with Phillip Lindsay. I feel like Phillip Lindsay is potentially going to take his job back throughout the season, or at least more of the reps. Melvin Gordon couldn't protect the football against the Tennessee Titans Monday night. And to me, he just didn't seem that polished, that great coming back in. He's still back you can utilize in this offense or in this NFL league. But I do feel like Phillip Lindsay is going to be more the Denver Broncos back. I kind of see him falling off soon, or at least not utilizing much from this Denver offense especially with what we saw with Drew Lock and that passing offense coming forward.
So the next one we have is Austin Eckler going against the Chiefs. What are your thoughts on this one?
He's going to fall in that same situation with Josh Jacobs. Austin Eckler, I know I said it the other week, I go possibly top 5 passing back, possibly top 5. Going back to the running back we just talked about Melvin Gordon, when he was on that Chargers offense, he really did open up Austin Eckler to be that passing back. With Melvin Gordon out, Austin Eckler becomes more of that first down back. He just can't utilize that offense as the same way as a number 1 back. And going against the Kansas City Chiefs, I don't see them running this ball, nor really checking down that much to Austin Eckler.
They're going to need to be stretching the field to try and keep up with this Chiefs offense.
So, I like Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, but I don't like Austin Eckler in this Week 2 matchup with them.
Agreed. Our next matchup, we have Todd Gurley going against the Cowboys.
All right, so Cowboys really didn't shine that well in Week 1, stopping the run. I feel like Mike McCarthy's going to get on that team to stop this. That defensive line, it's hard to shine away from them and say they aren't going to come back ready. Aldon Smith, one heck of a Week 1 performance. Very, very strong defensive line player. Along with D-Law, Tyron Crawford, and Dontarius Poe, I don't see how Todd Gurley takes off on this team. And hopefully the Cowboys, in my opinion, run away with this game and stop Todd Gurley from being a factor.
In my opinion, I think Todd Gurley is not going to have as much success as the Rams did because that particular Rams offense was designed to kind of be creative with the run game. I don't think Atlanta has a lot of that creativity with their running offense. A lot of it's just straightforward, and you got to believe that the defense that the Cowboys have with DeMarcus Ware back there and Aldon Smith being as productive as he was, they aren't going to give Todd Gurley much room to run. The only thing I would say is we definitely need to see some of their linebackers step up with Leighton Vander Esch out. So hopefully if they can get that spot filled, then this should be a team where they can make the Falcons one-dimensional.
Yeah, and I do like what you said, where I feel like that Week 1 matchup was just kind of a sleight of hand offensive guru of Sean McVay taking over that Cowboys defense. I really liked it. Sean McVay, hats off to him, outcoach the Dallas defense and utilizing his run game the way he did. All right, who we got next?
The last one we have here is Joe Mixon going against the Browns.
Joe Mixon against the Browns. I said it in our point spread. If the Browns lose this, I am putting them in the trash can. But this isn't after Week 2. So right now, I still kind of have the Browns somewhere right here. And I just think they're going to shut them down this week. If Joe Burrow ends up being a talented quarterback in this, he is talented. If he ends up taking over this game, I feel like the Cincinnati Bengals are going to go ahead and give him a free leash on taking over this Browns defense. If the Browns end up coming down here and end up in that trash can during this game, Joe Burrow's going to take over, and we can see more of what he can do in the passing game.
I think the biggest thing for me out of this particular matchup is the Browns were not only having to deal with the Ravens running back, they were also having to deal with Lamar Jackson, who is a very, very good runner as well. So you won't have that same sense with Joe Burrow and Joe Mixon. Joe Burrow is very talented on his feet, but I don't expect him to be nearly the same level as Lamar Jackson. The Browns are very solid on their defensive front line, so I don't expect Joe Mixon to be able to make any holes. I would expect Joe Burrow to maybe have more success running the football if they are going to try and get yards on the ground.
Agreed. So that wraps up our top 5 stardom and bottom 5 on who to sit this week.
Yep, And keep in mind, these are just based off predictions for Tuesday. So if there's any updates during the week, that does not take any of those into effect.
Also, do not forget the channel you are watching on. What are we called?
Mostly Wrong Football Analysis.
So we may be mostly wrong, except for our top 2 mostly right picks. No, we did disagree on. We agreed on one back, so for sure start Raheem Moster this week if you had him. Lock him in for that. Hopefully you had fun watching this. Subscribe, like the video if you want, or don't. We'll keep doing this again next week.